Well, a disappointing finish if you're an Indian fan. Certainly 3-0 to New Zealand, a whitewash. It hasn't happened for a while. We'll trace that journey back, but a complete reversal from the 5-0 drubbing in the T20 internationals. And now it was all about Team New Zealand without a full-strength side. So you'd have to give the home side full credit for almost balancing things out before it moves forward to the Test series. We'll look ahead to that, of course, but look back at the 3 one-day internationals and what happened today at Mount Maunganui. Just a quick reminder, in case you needed one, 296 for 7 after being put into bat first. It was a preferred option for Captain Virat Kohli. Reckoned right at the end, despite a magnificent effort from KL Rahul. They could have got 15, 20 runs more. Would it have made a difference in the end? We don't know. 300 for 5 with balls to spare. Nicholls was great with 80. Guptill gave them the impetus at the start with 66. But Colin de Grandhomme finished things off in style. But again, there's always a name in there who was the calming influence, and that was Tom Latham in this case, who just kept his head and let everything happen around him. My 11th Circle presents Cricbuzz Live for one final time in this ODI series to look back on that 3-0 defeat. Zaheer Khan, Harsha, Bhogle, you'd have to say that it was a comprehensive defeat given several factors.
It was, but I loved your intro. Look at his intro. He's gone to his intro. He says, Nicholls played well for 80. Guptill smashed it for 66. Grandhomme smashed it for 50 because both of them were in his team.
And it still didn't help.
And it still didn't help. No, but I think that start made a big difference. We've all been saying right through that with that total on that surface, you needed the new ball to deliver. But as has happened right through this series, the new ball hasn't delivered.
Not one wicket in 15 overs.
In 15
across
overs.
3 matches.
Yeah. Not a wicket. What's he doing in the studio? Send him out.
I mean, there you go. There's a confirmation.
You have to give me 3
First 15 overs, 83 for none, 83 for none, 103 for none. And I think this stat could sum up. I mean, there are sometimes you tend to look too deep into numbers. This one would sum up the difference.
Absolutely, I think there is no doubt about it. The start is always very important. That really sets the tone for the match. Whether you're defending or bowling first, it's about setting that tone for the innings. In fact, New Zealand batsmen have been getting this start and then losing their way in the middle. Yeah. You know, so that is something which India has been managing to do. But if you start well, if you get those early wickets, then it's a completely different ball game, and that's something which this team has been doing consistently well. If you look at the last couple of years' numbers, their main success formula has been picking up these early wickets, at least one in first 10, but they've been doing it consistently, that 1 wicket in the first 10, at times 2 or 3, and that really sets the tone for those middle overs. Spinners have been pulling things back. But they've been doing a job of pulling things rather than sustaining that pressure and really crushing the opposition. That is something which has been happening in the last couple of years. But the tone has to be set by the new ball bowlers with those early wickets.
And Harsha, you were looking at these numbers.
I was looking at the numbers. Look at spin. That's what Zach was talking about. 20 overs, 4 for 92 in close to 6 runs an over chase. You're picking up 4 wickets at 4.5. You couldn't have asked for anything more. BUMRAH par, 10 overs, none for 50. It's been a subpar series generally for BUMRAH, but today's game par, 10 overs, none for 50. Then the rest is where the match is lost. Saini, none for 68. Thakur, 1 for 87. He's gone for a lot of runs in the series. Shardul Thakur is played good cameos at the end. He's bustled in, but he's gone for runs. He's gone for too many runs, and if you don't pick up wickets early, it just makes the rest of the batting, it makes it that much easier for the rest of the batting.
Is that where the problem lies now, looking for a wicket-taking option? I know there's talk, Virat Kohli saying about the relevance of ODIs in this particular context of time, but the fact is the nucleus of the side is very similar to the T20 international side. A lot of these players will be involved in the T20 World Cup, so you can't really dismiss a format as such. You're still playing for the country, and the results have to be delivered. And as you said, wicket-taking options, despite BUMRAH being tight up front.
I often speak about being proactive, and I think that's something which bowling unit, as a bowling unit, you need to be aware. What is the New Zealand side looking to do? Their batting lineup has always been looking to be cautious when it comes to Bumrah. Guptill has been making those statements also that, we want Bumrah to have few off days.
Yeah.
But they figured that, Bumrah is a quality bowler who is never going to have that many off days in a row. So you have to find a way of putting that pressure or achieving the same result. And what they've been looking to do is by targeting those other bowlers, they're willing to take that extra risk on those other bowlers, which in this case Saini and Shardul. So this is where being proactive matters. So if you are being proactive, you anticipate that these guys are going to actually take more chances against you than Bumrah. So what are your ways? What are your options in that kind of a scenario? So this kind of a scenario can work out in your favor with regard to that wicket taking column. So you might be expensive, but you can pick up more wickets because the batsman is looking to take that extra risk when he's facing you, and that is something which maybe Indian bowlers miss that trick of anticipating batsmen coming harder at them rather than usual. In the process they could have they could have planned differently. I think understanding what is the strategy of New Zealand batsmen.
When they did come hard, I'm not sure they had anything to offer in return, because on this track there was hardly any lateral movement. And so the ball was coming straight on. They understood the conditions much better. It was a better batting surface than I think the one they played the one day on. So there wasn't much, a little disappointing. So we've seen Saini as well. When there's a bit of zip in the track, he's a completely different bowler. You see him when he bowls for RCB on those flat decks, he goes for runs in the IPL. Here again, flat deck, he went for runs, maybe not his kind of surface. But you learn only by playing these people. If Saini has to become a better bowler, he has to have days like these, where he knows that if I do this, it's a bad day for me.
I remember asking you the other day when we sort of said that Saini had bowled a decent spell. He had given under 50 runs in his 10 overs. And you said he'd trade that any day, not for 87, but maybe for 4 for 60.
You want wickets. You want wickets. And if he had got wickets, you would have won your game as well. Because
he keeps coming back to that.
No, but that day was 10-0, 48-0.
Yes.
If Bumrah's not getting wickets because they're playing him out, you don't mind Saini being 10-0, 65-3. Or even 10-0, 73, because if you give you 3 wickets today, the game was different.
So you average the 2 out. Now, but again, if we come to Jasprit Bumrah, you don't want to be harsh on someone. We've been talking about the batting side and Shreyas Iyer and his dismissal. But when it comes to Jasprit Bumrah, where he set such high standards, and you look back on the series, I think he would look back at these figures. Certainly the economy on certain cases from the start of 2020 has been good, but he'll look at that wickets column as well. No matter what he does, is how much of this is the respect being paid by the opposition and saying we're going to play him out, and how much is a cause for concern?
See, when you build a reputation like how Jasprit Bumrah has built now over the years, you tend to, you will have to fight this. So this is a phase right now Bumrah is in his career where teams are saying, okay, Bumrah, even if we get 35 runs, we are happy with that as long as we are not giving him wicket. Because then we can attack the other bowlers. We can still achieve the same result, and that is something which Bumrah right now have to understand, that he has to be extra aggressive in terms of looking to get those wickets, because he knows the batsmen are going to be defensive. So he has to find that way of going for wickets rather than hoping that the batsman will make a mistake, because batsmen are taking a very conservative approach. They're making sure that Bumrah's wicket-taking column is not getting filled, and that is something which as a bowler you can. It's a good sign. It's a good sign that other batsmen are giving him that respect. So it's Bumrah's call to now basically make the play. He has to make the play now rather than batsmen playing him out or being conservative.
That's why people who have 10, 12-year careers or 12, 15-year careers are fantastic, because they've gone through these cycles. They come up, they have a lot of success, people find out what they do. Then they go through a little bit of a dip, because now they have to overcome what the batsmen are doing to them. They see these 2 cycles, and then you're good enough to be picked for 12 years in your national team. That is what makes you great. So now maybe this is what's going to happen to Bumrah. Part of the result is 3-0 at the end. Is India relies on 2 key players, Kohli with the bat and Bumrah with the ball. Bumrah with the ball effective. If Bumrah was 1 of 5, you'd look at those numbers and say not bad. But if Bumrah is 1 of 1, then you look at those numbers and say I want a little bit more. So I remember that one, 7 overs, none for 50. That was a game that Warner and Finch went berserk, I think. and everybody went for runs about that much. But look how strongly he came back. Rajkot, Bengaluru, Hamilton, little expensive in Auckland. Even today, in a 6 runs and over chase, he's gone well below par. But no wickets, and that's the key. So as Zach said, they've now figured it out. Now he's got to find a way to take wickets and convert the none for 50 to 3 for 60.
Harsha mentioned the roller coaster in a sense.
Everybody
the ups
does.
and the downs. Yeah. Is part of the down the fact that he's just coming back now? Is it going to take a little bit more time, or do you really need to hit the ground running at that level?
I'm not looking at it.
A little. Dar lagta hai ki, suppose it happens to me again, so do you just hold back a little?
Not really. I've not got any signs of him being conservative in terms of his bowling. I think what he needs to figure out that how batsmen are planning their innings against him. You know, so you are not going to get those wickets which a batsman is willing to take that high risk shot. You know, you are not going to get those wickets where batsman is throwing the bat at the ball which is outside off stump. You know, batsman is not going to miss that delivery which is going to get you a bowled or a leg before, because they are paying that extra attention. They're extra focused when they're playing BUMRAH. So here you have to make the play. You know, so when I'm saying you have to make the play, that means you have to be over aggressive. So you have to tell yourself, my job is not to contain, my job is to take wickets. Yeah. So even in the process, if I'm going to go for runs, so be it. But my job is, I'm the lead bowler and I have to make the play. I have to dictate terms here. Not the batsman taking that cautious approach and then hurting through the partnership. So in that partnership right now, what's happening? They're saying if we're taking 3 from BUMRAH's over, the other bowler bowling at the other end, I'm going to look to take 8 from that over or 7 from that over, so that my average is maintained of 5 runs per over. So that partnership, I think BUMRAH needs to take that extra risk, like how batsman is being extra cautious. He has to take that extra risk of bowling that maybe fuller delivery or bowling that slower one which is right up there. You know, which
also what happened today was, he mentioned the 3 and 7. If you consistently get 7, 8, 9, 10 runs at the other end, then you can continue playing BUMRAH the way you want to. Yeah. But if at the other end also you're getting only 4 and 5, then you say, oops, hang on, I need to take a chance here. And then BUMRAH might get a few wickets too. So bowlers bowl in partnerships, and I don't think that is happening either. So yeah, it's been a disappointing series, this 3-0.
And you could see it even today. I mean, even someone like Colin de Grandhomme, who got that quick fire 50, when he was facing BUMRAH, you could see even with the match done and dusted, that strategy was persisting. He was willing to pat it back. Yeah.
Because you don't know what's coming, and they're saying, no, I don't want to get out to this guy because I know I'm getting runs at the other end and I've got enough time. Why would I want? I mean, if you're Colin de Grandhomme, you've hardly scored a run in this series. You had nothing to show, so you're on a roll. You're playing one of those innings. Might as well go not out at the end.
Yeah, and a quick wrap for CDG, Colin de Grandhomme, the big Zimbabwean, now playing for New Zealand, of course. Just imagine these figures. He had 14 runs in 29 deliveries, 5 times out till now. And obviously when Neesham got out and Grandhomme came in, India would have been thinking, okay, this guy can't, I mean, he's our bunny for this series, so let's count him out. And yet he picks up a 50 of 29 balls.
And it just shows he's that kind of player. So 14 of 29 was very unlike him. The other thing that happened that those numbers says, 106 good partnership, 53 good partnership, 27 wins next 4.5 overs, they haven't got a wicket. So only once in fact did they get 2 in a row. They didn't get wickets in a pile at all, and I think that made a difference too.
But again, I think to give credit to New Zealand, yes, you said on Cricbuzz Combox about the law of averages catching up with Ross Taylor, but Williamson coming back, not quite getting the runs. So no Williamson, no Taylor essentially here. Latham played a small part in this chase. So it meant someone like Guptill had to put his hand up and Grandhomme had to finish it.
Well, the formula of winning matches remains the same, isn't it? And that is something which New Zealand have been doing. They've been starting well. I think that has been setting up that stepping stone for their success in this series. And that's exact same thing which Indian team have not been consistent with. So call it inexperience of the openers or the bowling unit not really putting things together. But I think what New Zealand have been doing, getting those early breakthroughs, which they've been consistently doing, and getting that first wicket partnership, which really puts bowlers also on back foot or defensive to a certain degree, and that has been happening in this series. So New Zealand deserves to win this series. They have certainly outplayed Indians in this ODI competition.
There's one truth in our game that never changes. When 50 overs cricket first came, we said, pajama cricket. Remember the guys said pajama cricket? They're sort of this. What do you do into your gin? Whatever, they're having the drink and they said, 50 over cricket, it's just a pajama cricket. And we found that it has its ebbs and flows, but taking wickets was the key. We came to T20 cricket and exactly the same thing was said. We are now discovering if you lose wickets in the first 6 overs, you'll lose matches. Here we are discovering if you lose wickets in the first 10 overs, you lose matches. So nothing's changed really. Bowlers take wickets, that's how you win matches.
But what about Virat Kohli's take on this? We were just trying to get on the app and find out what he said. The first thing that struck you is that he said the scoreline doesn't quite reflect the series. It didn't have a whitewash sort of feel to it, and it's not just a brave face he's putting on. His feeling is that in terms of bowling and fielding is where there were areas of concern, and hence maybe they didn't quite, he didn't think the performance was in a sense of concern.
No. How many times were India in the game today? I think the only time India were in the game today really was when KL Rahul and Shreyas Iyer were batting.
Yeah.
And then when KL Rahul and Manish Pandey were batting was the only time that India were in the game today. Otherwise, India were always playing catch up. So this game, the scoreline is a good indication of which the superior side was. So, as a captain, he is not only speaking to the media, he's also speaking to his own players. He's speaking to various constituents. So he can't come up and say, you know what, we were hopeless. So he's got to say what he has to say.
But again, if you have to read into what he's trying to say, they played with a lot more intensity that we did. They deservedly won 3-0, but the scoreline, as he said, was not reflective, didn't deserve to be on the winning side in the series, haven't played so badly, but didn't grab opportunities.
Well, I think to me the standout point was the lengths which New Zealand bowlers were bowling at Indian batsmen. That is something which is, I think, the biggest takeaway for all the bowlers around the world. I think that is something which stood out for me from the series, wherein if you're bowling those test match lengths and you look to put that pressure on this Indian batting lineup with the new ball, and you get that inroad, then you know that that catch up is not always going to be successful by this Indian team batting lineup. So that is something I think which is going to be a concern for this Indian team going forward as well. They have to prepare themselves in that fashion, because you look at the New Zealand bowlers' numbers against this batting lineup, and there is a trend which is developing. It doesn't matter which bowlers played against this Indian batting lineup. You look at the World Cup, they had a completely different bowling attack, and now they had different bowling attack. So I think for me the takeaway is that, like, if you have to analyze the whole thing, then the biggest difference was the lengths and the approach which New Zealand bowlers had in this series, which really troubled this batting lineup. And if batting has been India's strength, they've been winning matches on purely on batting, setting those totals which are above par and setting that platform for the bowlers. The defending is something which we've always been cribbing about or not been happy or satisfied by. So I think there's a big takeaway from this series as far as how bowlers have gone with this Indian batting lineup.
I remember the word. They spluttered into their drink. What I was trying desperately to remember when pajama cricket came. Pajama cricket. That's what they were up to. They spluttered in their drink. Correct.
Okay. That's what comes of not being that experienced in that department.
Who,
the words
you?
also. No, you.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm changing, but yeah.
Okay, but let's try and see if we can make a comparison, because it's not too long ago that India and New Zealand were head to head in an ODI series in New Zealand. In fact, it was a year ago, and you can see all the highlighted games are the ones that India won, and these are all in 2019. And we're just trying to make a comparison between 2019 and 2020. And I think one of the factors is you're talking about the wickets that India kept in check in the games where they won. 43 for 1, 56 for none, 44 for 1. And the very difference that you can see, the stark difference you can see, and the same opposite, taking New Zealand wickets versus New Zealand keeping wickets.
Look at that scorecard from Wellington, 3rd of February 2019. India 22 for 4 and still won the game. Had New Zealand down 38 for 2. But otherwise, yes, you look at the games New Zealand have won. And this series is very stark. 2-3-2 and 0-0-0. It's very stark. Even in 20 overs cricket, even in 50 overs cricket, to a lesser extent in 20 overs cricket, but definitely in 50 overs cricket. What happens at the top and the tail tends to determine what happens, but you can never get away from the top. If your openers don't lay the foundation, if your new ball bowlers don't give you wickets, you're always struggling.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it might sound like a broken record. I remember every time we'd be sitting in Cricbuzz Combox last year in the series, and you'd be like, okay, 2 wickets, first 10 overs, I'm happy. And more often than not, the results would be...
Simply, you just have to divide the game. It doesn't matter what format you're playing. If you're playing a test match, you divide days and you divide sessions. You have to win each and every session for you to stay in the game. Similarly, here that first 10 over is that block, which is the most important block, which really sets the platform for the and sets the tone for the match. The second block is those next 30 overs till about 40 over when the back end or the slogging start. So that is the last block. So you have 3 blocks, and if you're behind in one block, then you have to make the catch up in the next block. So often you'll see that the games are changed also based on that. So if you not manage to get that first stick in that first 10 overs, then you have to do the work doubly hard to make sure that you catch up for the first 10 overs and the next 30 overs, and be sure by 40 over mark you are at that stage where you can launch from, or you have enough wickets hand, depending on how the game is going, and then make sure that you finish that last block also well. So it's just about getting those ticks, but that first tick has a lot of importance, which the team has not been able to achieve in this series, and the result is also showing up.
India will be very worried about the bowling. If this was a World Cup year, say if this was where India were last year, with the World Cup coming in 4 months, or World Cup coming in 6 months, you'd be worried. The batsmen have given you 347, and the bowlers couldn't defend that in the first game. The batsmen have given 296, not a great score on this track, but still there's a lot to bowl with. As Zach said, 300 runs is always an effort to get there, and again the bowlers couldn't defend that. So if you're getting into a World Cup here, you're worried about this bowling lineup. I know you can say, look, there's no Deepak Chahar, I know there's no Bhuvneshwar Kumar, but there was no Trent Bolt, there was no Lockie Ferguson. Shami didn't play today, but there was no Trent Bolt, there was no Lockie Ferguson, there was no Matt Henry. So it works both ways. The backup hasn't been as good on flat decks.
And it's something that they'll want to obviously keep in check, because, as Harsha said, it may not be a World Cup year, but essentially it's a World T20 year, and you still want to translate what you do in 50 over cricket into T20 cricket. You wouldn't want to ignore the format.
It's just about going back to basics, as simple as that. So you got to have this formula, you go back to the formula and see what you've not done, and then what needs to be done to correct that. So it's just as simple as that, and then you will... End of the day, it's a game of cricket which you're playing. You are going to have good days, you are going to have bad days, you're going to win some, you're going to lose some. It's just about the process which you are following, and that is the most important factor, and keeping that motivation going, keeping that confidence going. With these kind of losses, it can dent your confidence. So as a bowler also, by having these bad days, it's about how you come back from these bad days. And there are no other ways of coming back from these kind of defeats. It's just about analyzing and then starting that work, that process which helps you come out of it. So again, when you are put in this kind of a scenario and situation, you will respond differently, and it's just a process which goes on right till the time you are playing or you're watching the game and seeing things how it unfolds.
Yeah, I was just getting a figure. 51 overs at 7.58 are the figures for Shardul Thakur since his ODI comeback.
He's got to find another way to bowl, no? I mean, he tries hard, he bustles in, but his arsenal at the moment is not enough to demolish the opposition.
Yeah, and sometimes one can get distracted by his positive contributions with bat in hand, just his demeanor, which tends to be positive, but sometimes, as Harsha said, that bustling in can be deceptive because the results are not being yielded. Now, you're talking about winning some, losing some. This is around the time on the show we talk about the My 11 Circle Ultimate. Do we have to actually talk about it? We have to. The My 11 Circle Ultimate Team of the Day. I was trying to change the topic.
Of course you have to.
Of course we have to.
Okay.
Now I've had a bad day.
Oh, look at the vice captain. I quickly noticed the vice captain.
Yeah, Hamish Bennett.
Which is man of the match for RGB.
Yeah.
So let's look at this from our champion fantasy league player. You had Bennett?
No, I didn't have Bennett.
Okay. You had Grandhome. You had Rahul. You had Nichols?
No.
Oh dear. Pandey?
Yes.
But
No
was
Shreyas Iyer.
Okay, no Shreyas Iyer.
Okay, so you
Nah,
get the
just keep
idea.
pulling
The
his
My
leg.
11 Circle Ultimate Team of the Day, the maximum points you could possibly score, and I didn't have quite a few of the key players. That's the reason why I was trying to ask if we have to do it or not. Of course we have to. I'm fanatic about playing the game, but today was just not one of those days.
We watched two matches, by the way. We watched two matches in this studio. One is we watched New Zealand versus India, and the other we watched Gautam play Fantasy League.
So the next name will not be mine, I can assure you that. My 11 Circle champion of the day will be anyone but me today, and it is, there you go,
Chandrabhan
Kevat from Madhya Pradesh. Oh, I love the hairstyle. From Madhya Pradesh. You can obviously see his a little bit of a Virat Kohli beard and the hairstyle, but that's not what got him the 475.75. It was solid choosing of a team. Hamish Bennett had to be there. But
they say life is all about...
positives.
Sorry to interrupt you. I keep doing that all the time, but I was looking at that picture in the hair. The life's all about options.
Oh, I thought you were saying life's all about lots of hair.
No, you're doing all right, Fury. Sorry, you're doing all right, actually. But life's all about options.
Glad he didn't complete that sentence.
Life's all about options. When you have that kind of hair, then you can choose what to do with your hairstyle. Sometimes you run out of options.
Okay, let's pick out a couple of options that are positives for Team India. I know we have done our job of trying to assess what may go wrong, the bowlers who have to step up, but certainly when you look at positives, it started with the T20 International Series. He's carried his form. Another magnificent innings today. KL Rahul has
Fantastic.
to be a standout across both formats.
Was fantastic. I don't think it's a revelation that he was fantastic because we've been waiting for consistency. I don't think his ability has ever been in question. All we've waited for is his consistency, and that's been fantastic. Even today, a runner ball 100, where batting at 5. Where's he got his other hundreds? At the top of the order. So he's shown he's versatile, something to do with the name maybe, but he's shown he's versatile. So he's the big plus. I think what we needed to look at was how good he is behind the wicket rather than in front of it. Front of it, he was fantastic. I thought behind he was all right too.
Yeah.
Behind he was fine too.
He's done all right. I think those gloves are going to stay there for a while.
For a while, yeah.
But the other person, of course, who was batting with him for a while, Shreyas Iyer, again, inning after innings he's shown. I know we gave him a bit of a rap last time around because of the shot that he played.
And I think it worked. I think it worked. So we should, yeah. I think today's situation demanded him to step up, and he's getting there. So he certainly has the means to be consistent in that position and own that spot, and that's how he should look at things as well. And today's innings showed that that consistency is there. He was staying in line. He was batting nicely, and he really soaked in pressure in that situation when India was 3 down, and was a tricky scenario and situation at that stage to come up with a partnership with KL Rahul. I think it was very vital, and that's what you expect from a number 4 batsman. So I think full marks to him. He has certainly shown the signs of getting better with each innings. He has gone out there.
Yeah, look, he came in the 7th over. He came in the 7th over at 32 for 2.
This is the difference where, again, if you rewind to July 2019, and not everyone likes to do that, but if you have to do that, losing those wickets early, and you have this number 5 and number 6 who have already experienced the situation, and you're sort of ready for that. Maybe we weren't as ready that time.
It was a slippery slope from 4, 5, 6 downwards. MS had to bat up that day. I don't know what the thinking in the change room was. MS simply had to bat up and calm the raging seas, as it were. But someone like Shreyas Iyer, now look where he's made a runner ball 62, come in the 7th over. Now sometimes he'll come in the 25th over, and he's got to get going straight away, for which he has the game. So I remember when he was coming in, we're just thinking, right, let's watch Shreyas today. How's he going to go today? 7th over, they're going to pepper him with bouncers. They didn't do enough of that. They did a bit of that, not enough of that. But he came in the 7th over and the runner ball 62. I think he passed his test today. So I think one of the big problems for India was that with Shikhar, Rohit and Virat, the top 3 were winning you so many games that 4, 5, 6 were almost, were not getting enough cricket. If this trend can continue, the only thing now you need is a number 6 who can bat. I think Manish Pandey has done a good job. Sorry, number 6 who can bowl. Or you just back 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and say my top 6 is good enough. But if you get Shikhar and Rohit back in form, and Virat to shrug off the fact that he's now gone for a while without 100.
And Hardik Pandya back.
Then 4, 5, 6, suddenly your team is looking better.
Certainly is. And from the bowling department, you'd have to again salute Yuzvendra Chahal. not just for that delivery that got Martin Guptill out, but he's been consistently picking wickets.
Absolutely, I've been a great fan of Chahal. Just something about him that he always stays in the game, and he's someone who doesn't bog down under pressure. And is always staying with the game as the game is unfolding. So that is something which he has continued with. I feel he should be playing all the matches. Like,
agree.
That's that one call you have to take, because you need stability as well. It doesn't matter what you're looking forward to. If someone is your consistent performer, has to be there playing most of the matches. You don't need that one game to wait for, and then you pick Chahal back. Chahal has to be your first spinner. I think he has done enough to be your number one spinner in white ball cricket, and that is something which they should I think realize and put a stamp on.
He's a complete spinner because he can toss it. I mean, Kuldeep is slightly one-dimensional in that sense that he tosses the ball up, though he turns it both ways. But Chahal can push it through. He's got the big leg break. Occasionally will bowl the googly. Not a big googly bowler, but he's got everything. I agree completely with Zach. You must tell Chahal, you are our number one white ball spinner, and you're going to play.
Yes.
So yeah, another plus. Chahal plus, Rahul plus, Shreyas plus.
I think Manish Pandey is also.
Manish Pandey is a plus, yeah. Yes.
With whatever opportunities he got, he really made it count. Today also, when he came in that scenario, he was looking to be aggressive, which no one was expecting him to be at that stage. You would expect, okay, Manish Pandey will start with some singles and all that. He's straight away taking that aerial approach, knowing his areas, knowing his game plan. So that is something which has impressed me, and whatever opportunities he's got in this series has been very positive for.
I was also looking forward to seeing a little more of Prithvi Shaw today, because I liked what I saw. Back foot, he's such a good plays good crunching shots, but the way he got run out by a large margin. I don't know. I've not seen enough of him. You see just what you see in a test match, in a one-day. I'm not sure he's still an athlete. Maybe if he can be a little quicker between wickets, charge between wickets.
Genius with the bat, but fitness is something is in your hand. So you have to it's just about taking that responsibility, added responsibility, going out there, getting the trainer aside, getting those extra sessions going, because fitness is something which you can always work on. But in terms of batting, the guy has got class. And that shows when he bats, So it's important for Indian cricket also that he gets into that kind of mindset where he keeps adding things to his game, because he has been showing those signs. I mean, who gets 100 on debut, and against the best of the attack. So that is something which we've always seen the sparks of genius in Prithvi Shaw.
Well, he'll have to get his act together. He'll have to get that mindset going, because he is very much part of the test squad. And that's the next format that India look forward to. The T20 internationals done, ODIs done, time for test match cricket, and time for all of you to continue to play. Lessons to be learned. Don't pick teams like I pick, at least today.
You're going hard on yourself.
Get the app downloaded. Yeah, you've got to be.
Saying before you guys come at me, let me only start.
Yep. So the rules remain the same. Just the format has changed. The app remains the same. All you need to do is pick the players, with a reminder that the likes of Cheteshwar Pujara, Ajinkya Rahane, Umesh Yadav, Ishant Sharma, possibly Hanuma Vihari, they will all be in the mix. We're going to see a few names from New Zealand as well. They haven't actually announced that squad, but we will doubtless see the names, possibly even the likes of Wagner. Bolt has been already warming up. Not sure about Lockie Ferguson yet, if he's not fit. Possibly even Kyle Jamieson might be bumped up into the test format. Keep a lookout. You'll get to know it all on Cricbuzz Live, and we will continue to play that game. But joy factor, yes, he continues to ask the questions. Today's question, a quick recap of what it was, and then we'll unveil the winner. As we always mention, likes to be topical. Why is a Sri Lankan cricketer who averaged 99, the only test he played, fascinating, in the early 2000s, in the news recently? So, let's give you the answer first, and the answer is, why is it topical? Yeah, we're talking Under-19 World Cup. Naveed Nawaz, the coach of the Bangladesh Under-19 side, they tend to like their Sri Lankan coaches.
Yeah, they take I thought Chandi Khatur Singh was their best coach they had for a long time. Really raised their side. Naveed Nawaz. When I first saw that, I thought there's a trick somewhere, man. Average 99, easy to Google. Then suddenly it struck me, it's his average 99 with the ball. But it wasn't in this case. It was okay. I just thought that might have been a good twist. Did he average
So it wasn't easy to Google either?
Well, I'll tell you what, I Googled average 99.
And nothing came up.
No, nothing came up. But what did come up was very interesting. Nuwan Pradeep came up. I don't know what Nuwan Pradeep's coming up.
That's probably 99 with the ball.
After 3 test matches, his batting average was 0.5, his bowling average was 345.
Right.
So you don't want to know those numbers. He became a much better bowler after that.
He certainly did.
But good question, yeah.
So obviously you couldn't just Google it and get it. You had to actually have some knowledge. You had to be watching that under-19 World Cup, and maybe if you could spot the coach along with that fitness conditioner from Bangladesh, you would get it. But this is our winner for the last Joy Factor question of this ODI series. And he's won before, cricket fan at Deep CUV. Deep CUV. Oh, I remember. He's the one who was supposed to write back to us and he didn't.
Correct, he didn't.
Naughty boy.
Yes.
Deep CUV, you were supposed to write back hashtag Cricbuzz Live. Maybe you did and we missed it, but we were certainly looking out for you to tell us what does CUV actually stand for. We thought it's something to do with a twist of an SUV, but we don't know. Anyway, well done to Deep.
Yeah, did they really kidnap Crick Rohit? Because there was a suggestion that he should be gagged or something, not allow him to enter. He didn't win a single one. Crick Rohit, where are you? Didn't win even one.
Well, that's it. 3 ODIs in a row. India didn't win a single match. Crick Rohit didn't win a single Joy Factor question. There you are. That's our stats for this whole series. But yes, Test series is what we look forward to next, gentlemen. Looking forward to that?
Very much so. Very much, because number one, India very well high on top of that World Test Championship ranking. I think these 2 tests count for it as well. It'll count for New Zealand. England versus New Zealand didn't count, so it's important for them too. Wellington and Christchurch. I'm very interested in knowing what kind of tracks they gave. There was a brief discussion in commentary on that, saying earlier when Indian teams used to come there, wrong back 80s, 90s, whatever, you tended to give real green tops. In 2002, they forgot to mow it, of course, as you know, they just put the wickets in the wrong place, they put the stumps in the wrong place. But can you do that today? Because if you do that today, you've got 3 Indian quicks coming at you, or will you say, look, we'll get into the top order quickly, so let's play to our strength and produce grassy pitches?
Yeah,
because in recent time,
2002 was sponsored by Tourism New Zealand to end 2-day test match, 3 days of sightseeing.
Well, the best tour we've been on, Zach. I don't know how good a tour it was for you all. It was the best tour for us because we had so much time to see everything.
So we had one number 11 batting twice and bowling twice in one day.
Nehra.
In Hamilton. Ashish.
Ashish Nehra.
So he did batting and bowling both on one day. I think it must be okay. I'm taking away Joy Factor question. He could have asked which player to do that in one day. I mean, how many times you see that a player bowling twice and batting twice on the same day?
96, 99 and 96 or 96 and 94.
Something like that,
2 teams pulled out for under 100.
But yes, I think wickets are going to be something which we have to wait and see what kind of tracks this team will get. Depending on Nishant's fitness also, I think BUMRAH should get into playing 11. So that team management will have to make that one call about picking 3 seamers from 4. But I think they'll stay away from 5 bowlers. Only one spinner will play, 3 seamers will play. So that should
play the extra batter in Vihari at 6. Well, I'm just a little concerned at Mayank Agarwal's form. He had standout 2019, was in everybody's team of the year, including the ICC's team of the year, but he's not got runs.
For Shubman Gill waiting.
Yeah, he still hasn't got runs in New Zealand.
Anyway, this is just a little tease of what the kind of discussions we're going to have, and the reason I'm almost cutting them short is because you're going to hear from both these gentlemen. There's plenty of blogs, plenty of previews all around Cricbuzz, so you look out for that as we build up to that first test match at the Basin Reserve in Wellington, and the second test starting on the leap year, the special extra day, February 29th will be the second test from Hagley Oval in Christchurch, the first of 2 test matches. That's all we have for you from Cricbuzz Live in this ODI series. Thank you, Zaheer Khan. Thank you, Harsha Bhogle.
And sorry.
We had to have the last word of that one. So look out for so much more. And of course, we also showed you Spicy Pitch, which is going to be so much fun to look out for on the site. 15th of February, Spicy Pitch to look out for the other side of our cricketers. And we'll continue to bring you so much more. That's all we have from this ODI series. We'll see you soon. My 11 Circle presents Cricbuzz Live.